Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to our program standing committee tonight, Wednesday, January 14th. And we will begin with our land acknowledgement of the traditional territory. And this is being read by Superintendent Jennifer Newby, please.
The Simcoe County District School Board acknowledges that we are situated on the traditional land of the Anishinaabe people. The Anishinaabe include the Ojibwe, the Odawa, and the Boiwetimi nations, collectively known as the Three Fires Confederacy. We are dedicated to honoring Indigenous history and culture and committed to moving forward in the spirit of reconciliation and respect with all First Nations, Métis, and Iwi people.
Thank you, and that brings us to the national anthem. So please rise if you are able. Tonight's version of the national anthem is courtesy of Georgian Bay District Secondary School. And that brings us to our statement of respect, and that is also being read by Superintendent Jennifer Newby, please.
The SCDSB is committed to creating a culture of belonging, engagement, and success for all through deliberate actions and intentional focus in the area of diversity, equity, and inclusion. The SCDSB Board of Trustees will conduct meetings in an inclusive, respectful manner that upholds the principles of respect for human rights and allows all members, staff, and guests to participate fully, regardless of race, religion, ethnicity, age, ability, and gender.
Thank you. And that takes us to item 4, roll call. This evening we have regrets from Trustee Talbot and Trustee Wilson. And then our approval of the agenda. Do we have someone who would like to move the approval? Okay. Trustee Lloyd, and seconded by Trustee Rafiq. Any questions or comments? Okay. And all in favor of that? Any opposed? And that is carried. Are there any declaration of conflicts of interest this evening? Okay, I don't see any. We do not have any presentations or delegations. And then that takes us to our items of decision, which we do not have any. And then that takes us to items for information. So our first report this evening is about our 2024-2025 4-year and 5-year graduation rates. And I will invite Associate Director Maltby, please.
Excuse me, good evening, and through the chair, I would like to ask permission to have Manager Newton and Principal Pino join me at the table for this presentation.
Excellent. Please join us.
Yeah. Before you is the board report regarding the 4- and 5-year graduation rates for the Simcoe County District School Board. This report celebrates and recognizes the efforts of staff and caregivers and their role in supporting students towards graduating secondary school. The graduation rate reflects 14 and 15 years of commitment from our students to earn the OSSD or Certificate of Accomplishment. You will see that the 4-year graduation rate has risen over the past 5 years, and the 5-year graduation rate remains consistent. Manager Newton will speak to the rates themselves and then pass the mic to Principal Pino, who will speak to some of the resources and programs that support our students in this journey.
Through the chair, so I just wanted to explain quickly that some school boards, including SCDSB, we do calculate our own graduation rate, and some boards rely only on the ministry calculation. And the main difference between the ministry calculated graduation rate that's posted publicly, usually it's lagging about 2 years. So the last time that they posted a rate for grad was 2022, 2023. And the second difference is that when we calculate our grad rate at the board, we include students that enter our board after grade 9. But the Ministry of Education, they keep all grade 9 cohorts together, regardless of students moving schools.
Thank you. And through the chair, the Simcoe County District School Board continues to demonstrate a strong commitment to improving graduation rates through comprehensive range of programs and processes designed to meet the diverse needs of our students. These initiatives provide multiple pathways to success, ensuring that students have access to opportunities that align with their interests, strengths, and future goals. Specialist high skills major programs allow students to focus on career sectors while earning valuable certifications and engaging in experiential learning. Similarly, the Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Program offers students the chance to begin apprenticeship training while completing their secondary education, bridging the gap between school and skilled trades careers. Dual credit programs delivered in partnership with Georgian College enable students to earn both secondary and post-secondary credits simultaneously, easing the transition to higher education. School within a college provides an alternative learning environment for students who benefit from a college setting while completing their diploma requirements. Cooperative education further enhances experiential learning by connecting classroom instruction with real-world work experience, fostering essential skills and career readiness. These programs are complemented by processes that identify and support students at risk of not graduating. Individualized planning, ongoing monitoring, and targeted interventions ensure that barriers to success are addressed promptly and effectively. Central to these achievements is the commitment of school and board staff. Their dedication to fostering positive relationships, providing guidance, and creating inclusive learning environments plays a major role in the increases in graduation rates observed across the school board over the years. Staff collaboration, innovative practices, and a student-centered approach underscore our shared belief that every student can succeed. Through these programs and the collective efforts of our educators and support teams, the Simcoe County District School Board continues to empower students with the skills, confidence, and credentials necessary for success beyond secondary school.
Thank you, and that concludes the presentation.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Are there any questions? Okay, Trustee Lloyd, please.
Thank you, and through you to our presenters. Thank you for being here this evening. I do have one question. One of the things I know we focus on 4 years and 5 years, and you know, we all know everyone has a different path, and life gets in the way sometimes with that path and what our goals and objectives are. And so we will have students that maybe step aside and come back, or students who, through an alternate program, may take a longer path to get there. So they don't get acknowledged anywhere in here. Is that correct? Like, even though they're graduating, they're not included in these numbers?
Through the chair to Trustee Lloyd, that is correct. They're not included in these numbers, but they certainly are still in our schools and our programs, or not all of them. Some of them are still in our schools and programs and will eventually graduate.
Follow up, Trustee Lloyd?
Yeah, thank you very much for that. So do we track the additional students that graduate? You know, and when we look at the totality of all the students who graduate, it may come as a small number, but I think those students are really important as well, because we put a lot of work and a lot of effort into helping those students, re-engaging those students, helping those students get their credits. And so I'm just wondering if we track those numbers, have those numbers as well.
So through the chair, we do track that. So when we do our report publicly, we follow the Ministry of Education. So what we're looking at is students who are on record as working towards an OSSD or an OSSD SHSM. But in addition to that, we do track Certificate of Accomplishments, so a COA, or an OSSC. And it's usually about 60 per year. And some students that don't graduate in 4 years or 5 years, sometimes there is a change in the diploma type that they're achieving so that they do have success in graduation. That's also in our data. And in addition, we do track students if they are a non-graduate in 4 years. About 10% then head into adult and continuing education. So that also is tracked with that team as well through Superintendent Playford.
One more, Trustee Lloyd.
Yeah, so to bring this sort of around then, the number is actually, if you took away the requirement of it being 4 or 5 years that it gets done, the graduate is actually higher than this information presents.
Yeah, through the chair. That's correct. So here we're really stuck with 4 year, 5 year, but it's that grade 9 base count that we stick with. But on top of that, we do have additional graduates on top of that number.
Okay, thank you very much.
Perfect. Trustee Rafiq.
Thank you very much, and through the chair. I had a similar question to Trustee Lloyd. We have this discussion at SEAC every year, and SEAC always wants to know the 7-year graduation rates because, you know, it does take, there's a lot of reasons, like Trustee Lloyd mentioned, that there's a lot of reasons it can take longer, and a lot of our spec ed students will stay until they're 21 and often do graduate. And I know they ask for those numbers every year. Is that something that we're able, are those numbers something we're able to give them, or is it too difficult to track, or how does that work?
So through the chair, it's not difficult to track. I guess it's just when we present here, we're presenting on one methodology, but through Superintendent Jacobs, he has submitted that request to us, and we're in the process of running graduation rates for a report, I believe, that's coming February 9th to SEAC.
Sorry, follow up?
Sorry, I just wanted to say thank you very much for that, and thanks, Superintendent Jacobs, because yes, it is a question that's asked often, so I'm excited to see those numbers too then. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Armstrong.
Thank you to Associate Director Maltby. In regards to a differing question, I know this is about graduation, but of the percentage of those who enter grade 9, what percentage finish in 4 years as opposed to 5 or even more years? I would think that trend every year is probably more students are finishing in 4 years. Is that would that be correct? I know that data is not needed on here, but I'm just wondering, it's just in generally, would 90% finish in 4 years, graduate in 4 years, or 75%? I would think the number would be either growing every year or gain fairly flatline, consistent.
So through the chair, so currently we do have that 85%, so that's the proportion of students who graduate in 4 years, but that does represent an increase of 339 more students that have graduated since last year. And when we're calculating our grad rate, we're also looking at how that base count of potential graduates is changing. So at SCDSB, even though we are a growth board and we have a higher count of potential graduates in grade 12, we've outpaced that growth with 339 more graduates in this report in the most recent year.
Follow-up, Trustee Armstrong?
And then I wonder if our student trustees have any input on this. Like, do you feel when entering grade 9, were you highly encouraged, finish in 4 years or less than 4 years, or don't go to 5 years? Has that discussion ever come up, or are you aware of that? Because I think the issue of when you finish, the age that you finish, can be significant for, if you're thinking of post-secondary or apprenticeship. So I don't know if they have any input about, was that ever something that came up when they started grade 9?
Okay, student trustee Kim, please.
Through the chair to the table. I think this discussion hasn't really taken place in schools, but particularly it's about what path this student wants to take in their career, depending on whether it's trades, whether it's post-secondary, maybe they need to take another year to finish a specific class. So it's all about what that student wants to do, and the teachers and everyone involved is trying to prioritize that.
Thank you. I just wanted to clarify that there was no pressure to try to do this all in 4 years, because really your pathway, if you go past the 4th year for one more semester, into the 5th year, or 2 semesters, or even special ed, really it's the individualization of your educational journey should be not a pressured thing that you have to do in 4 years as opposed to 5. So I just wondered, I was curious if that was any discussion that ever happened for them. Thanks for that.
Okay, sorry, Associate Director Maltby.
Yes, and student trustee Kim gave a great answer, but just to add on to that, and I think he alluded to that, it would be that student's pathway, and they would be encouraged to head to guidance to discuss that pathway with guidance staff so that they are on the right pathway and they can plan out when they might graduate according to what they want to do post-secondary.
Okay. Any other questions? Trustee Bites, please.
Thank you. Through you, Chair Glimmet, to our presenters. I have a few questions here. Does this rate, you mentioned several different types of graduations, like a regular graduation, OSSD, and then one that has the Shazam or whatever with it. I'm wondering about the certificate of completion, or the other ones, if they're included in these rates, and what those certifications, what they mean.
Okay, Associate Director Maltby, please.
Thank you. Through the chair to Vice Chair Bites. So I'll start, and then I'll pass it over to Principal Pino. So the OSSD, the graduation rates would be the OSSD, and then the OSSD with the SHISM, as we would call it in short form. The certificate of accomplishment is listed as a separate number. But we did include that in the report. I believe there's a hard count number of students that accomplished that certificate.
Okay, follow-up, Trustee Bites.
Yes, thank you. So those students that get a certificate of accomplishment, they are not included in this rate. What is a certificate of accomplishment, and what are the requirements for that?
Principal Pino.
Yes, thank you, and through you to the table. So the certificate of accomplishment often will be aligned with students who are in some of our county classes, who will be in our schools, secondary schools, for 7 years, and so that's their pathway. So it is different from the requirements for the OSSD.
Okay. Oh, another question. Okay, Trustee Bites.
Yes, on a different topic. Thank you. My next question is about, you mentioned how there's 339 more since last year, and how our growth, so basically when we do these percentage, we start with however many are in grade 9, and the difference is the ministry starts with whoever started in kindergarten or grade 1 or whatever to do their count. So because we're growing, there are more potential graduates in grade 12 than started in grade 9. And I was just wondering if you could elaborate, help me understand how you accommodate or incorporate that or adjust for that fact. and how, because it made it sound like even though we are growing and we have more, we're still, anyway, could you just explain some more about that? Thank you.
So through the chair, I can talk to the data behind the count, but for accommodating that growth. So when we look at the potential graduates between 2023, 2024, and this most recent year, 2024, 2025, we have 288 additional grade 12 graduates working towards an OSSD. But then when we look at the number of successful graduates in 4 years, it's 339. So that's when we say that that number of graduate, it's not just a reflection of increasing enrollment, that we are graduating more students.
Okay, that's good. Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, I don't see any. Thank you very much for that report. So that takes us to Pro-I-1B, Simcoe Muskoka District Health Unit Partnership Initiatives 2024-2025, and I will invite Superintendent Newby, please, for that report.
Thank you. Good evening. Excuse me. Good evening through you, Chair. I'd like to invite a program manager with the health unit, Stephanie Ross, to join me at the table, if I may.
Excellent. Please join us. Thank you.
So it's with great pleasure that I welcome health unit partner Stephanie Ross to join us in providing some updates this evening. The Simcoe County District School Board, the Simcoe Muskoka Catholic District School Board, and the Simcoe Muskoka Health Unit have a long-standing and comprehensive partnership defined by a shared dedication to students and staff well-being, commitment to community service, and openness to an ongoing exchange of information. As indicated in the report, a key area of collaboration includes mental health promotion, which we're proud to say incorporates students' ideas, is often student-led, and well supported by the public health unit. Furthermore, this year included the launch of a principal-vice principal advisory committee related to supporting vaping prevention initiatives developed by the health unit for implementation in our schools. We have a great opportunity in this moment to hear so much more about this partnership and the contributions of the health unit directly from Manager Stephanie Ross. I'll turn it over to you, Stephanie, at this time with thanks.
Thank you, and through you, Madam Chair, to the table. Very pleased to be here. Thank you as well, Superintendent Newby, for the introduction. The health unit and Simcoe County District School Board, as Superintendent Newby said, have a very long-standing partnership. The report that you're receiving this evening is providing highlights of the 2024-2025 school year, but I think it's really important to acknowledge that that the work that is highlighted, much of it does continue into the current school year as well. As in previous school years, typically we start the year with a meeting that occurs between the Director of Education, both from the Simcoe County District School Board as well as the Simcoe Muskoka Catholic District School Board, and the Medical Officer of Health from the Simcoe Muskoka District Health Unit, and several representatives from each of our organizations. And so for the school year that we're speaking to, that really provided the opportunity to speak about some of the historical work we've done together, as well as some of the priorities that would set the stage for collaboration. From there, ongoing discussions related to priority setting and partnership occur with designates from the Simcoe Muskoka District Health Unit and the two local school boards. And so at this opportunity, I would like to thank both Superintendent Jacobs, who I see back in the corner, and Superintendent Newby, who both provided leadership in this realm. Also to acknowledge the monthly meetings with mental health leader Dawn Franks and her team that supports the work that we do in collaboration related to positive mental health. And in addition to that, we enjoy many different collaborations with partners, both at the school board level and across schools and school communities, which really enables all of the activities that you see detailed in the report to occur. The school health program and the health unit by extension use a comprehensive approach to guide the delivery of our programs and services in schools. And so comprehensive school health is considered an internationally recognized best practice for achieving sustainable health outcomes and health promotion in school settings. And so what that approach encourages is action in several foundational areas. First of all, policy and leadership, also through curriculum, teaching and learning, the creation of supportive social environments and healthy physical environments, as well as cross-sector partnerships and services. In the fall of the 2024 year, school health public health nurses contacted all SCDSB elementary and secondary schools to offer an outreach visit. And what that outreach visit provides is a first opportunity for the nurses to do some assessment with the school, to meet with the school leader and learn about their unique health and well-being needs, their priorities, and to offer support in the way of public health information, support, consultation, and services. The majority of the schools did participate in an outreach visit with their assigned nurse. And then depending on the needs and the priorities identified by schools in those visits, the types of interventions that would have followed varied. Just for a few examples, public health nurses provided representation on school health and wellbeing committees. They supported the development and or implementation of health and wellbeing goals and activities that were contained in the school's equity and action plans. They worked together on a variety of health education and health promotion initiatives and made referrals to other services, both within the health unit as well as within the local community. So mental health was, as was spoken to earlier, the most common health promotion topic that was identified by schools. Some of the other common topics that were identified included school food and nutrition, physical activity, and substance use, and that does include tobacco and vaping. Support for school food and nutrition, just to elaborate, continued through collaboration on the Eat Well to Excel Partnership Committee, and I know there are many champions for that work in the room, as well as support to individual schools to plan and implement activities to address school food and nutrition, and many of those did focus on increasing food access, as well as creating supportive food and nutrition environments for students. The partners also collaborated to promote school travel planning, and that involved work that continued through the Simcoe Muskoka On the Move Advisory Committee and also through the On the Move initiative. So select schools from the school board were involved to a varying degree, some at a local level, and then also through a community-wide approach, which was a pilot on the Move initiative in the Bradford West Gwillimbury community. In addition, we continue to offer various clinical services, including immunization and dental health, responded to reports of infectious disease, consulted on a variety of topics such as human development, sexual health, infection prevention and control as needed. Public health inspections also occurred in schools to assess food safety, infection prevention and control, and compliance with the Smoke-Free Ontario Act 2017. In addition, we responded to events occurring in the community surrounding schools. So an example of that would be adverse drinking water quality incidents that might happen in the community but have impacts on school operations. Another example to highlight would be the work that occurred collaboratively to support measles preparedness. I think it is important to acknowledge that all of the initiatives that you'll see listed in the report provide just really a snapshot of the work that occurred together in the 2024-25 school year and that does continue, and that the success of these initiatives is largely dependent on that ongoing collaboration that we have with members of the school board, schools, and local communities. So with that, I thank you for receiving the report. Thank you for your continued interest and support for the partnership as well, and I will pass it back to Superintendent Newby.
With thanks, this concludes our summary of the report this evening, and we're happy to take any questions.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that wonderful report. And I see Trustee Bites has a question.
Yes, thank you. Through you, Chair Grummett, to, I forget your name from the health unit, Stephanie, thank you. I was just curious, I know we've been concerned about vaping, and thank you for your work in doing that. And I think it's great that there's a principal and vice principal advisory thing to connect with you. I think that is. I just had a couple general questions. Do you know how many students, or by percentage, how many actually vape, and what age, or vapor smoke, or what age this typically begins?
Through the chair, to you, Trustee Bates. I did not come prepared with all of the stats to share, and I don't want to misquote myself, but what we do know is that vaping has been a growing concern locally and provincially, and so certainly that trend is something that we've been seeing for a number of years, and something that has been concerning, work that we are doing to address. If you'd like those current statistics, I can follow up through Superintendent Newby, but I didn't come with those this evening. I'm sorry.
That's okay. You came with lots of other great information. Trustee Bice, did you have another question?
I did. Thank you. Through you, Chair Grummett. Thank you so much. I would love to just follow that. I know it's a societal trend, and but it's good to get an idea, just to spread awareness for parents. That's really why I asked. I also wanted to ask, you said that the schools have public health inspections, and I was wondering, probably I'm going to ask you for a number you also didn't bring. How did those go? Did we pass most of them? Were there a lot of deficiencies or concerns? Was there anything of note in those?
So through the chair, again to you, Trustee Bites, public health inspections do occur in schools for a variety of reasons. The reports of all public health inspections are public on the health unit's website. So we have a section of our website dedicated to those results. At this time, I don't have any specific concerns that I would raise to speak with you, but if that were to occur, we would certainly follow up through our established liaison partnership to address, but thankfully don't have anything of that nature to speak to at this moment.
Wonderful. That's great to hear. And I do know your website has lots of data for lots of different areas, so it is a great resource. Trustee Bites, any other? No, you're good? Okay. Trustee Lloyd, please.
Thank you very much. And through you, thank you for coming this evening. As someone who was a trustee during the pandemic, I think our partnership with the health unit is just wonderful, and you were so immensely helpful to us at that time. So I really, really appreciate that and want to acknowledge it. My question is with respect to immunization records in students. And there's been a fair bit in the media lately about it, and the potential for suspensions and the letters that you're sending home. And it's a very big undertaking because the numbers are fairly significant. And thinking back to when I had a few people in high school and we were trying to update some of the records and different things, is there, it's a parent has to get the records and then update you with the records. Is there any thought provincially to make this an easier or a more streamlined process? Because, doctor's offices can take days, if not weeks, to get back to you, right? And it seems a very archaic way that we do this. And so I'm just wondering if there's any look provincially to enhance this or to make it more simplistic or more streamlined.
Through the chair, to you, Trustee Lloyd, I certainly hear your feedback, and I don't think this is the first time we've heard those sentiments shared. We know that there are challenges associated with the current reporting system, and really appreciate the support of the school board to raise awareness, because what you're raising is something that not everybody is aware of, is that, if you receive or if your child receives a vaccine from the primary care provider, it doesn't automatically get to the health unit. So we really do rely on those reports that come in from families. I know that there have been conversations occurring. I won't speak to the details. There is another immunization program at the health unit that would have more information to share in terms of where things are at with respect to streamlining that process more. Something that we really look to do with the school board is ensure, A, that families are aware and reduce barriers to reporting the immunizations with the processes that we do have. So whether that's contacting the health unit by phone, we do have a secure online reporting format as well that families can use. And then working directly with schools where there are, students identified perhaps for suspension that may have a need for additional support, working with them to help reduce those barriers as well.
A follow-up, Trustee Lloyd?
Thank you, and thank you for that answer. My personal experience was, and this was a number of years ago, that it was not an easy process, right? And took numerous calls to get the records and to get the information for myself to submit. So, and the numbers are high. That's a lot of letters that somebody's having to put together, right? My next question is with respect to vaping, and it's too bad Trustee Talbot's not here tonight because he's been speaking to me a number of times about vaping. And I just wondering, anyone under the age of 18 is not supposed to be accessing these products. They're not supposed to be sold these products, right? They're not supposed to have them. And what work is being done to try and reduce access to these, to vape materials and, because they certainly seem readily available to the youth, the young population. If they want them, they can get them. So what work is being done to try and address that part of it? We can do the public health part and try and discourage them from doing it, but they have easy access to these materials.
Just sharing, and that's a great question. Thank you so much for that. Through you, Chair, I'd like to share that I think the education piece is definitely something that we're focused on because ultimately it's the student choice whether they're going to participate if they do get access to it. So we're really trying to share with students the impact of vaping, the consequences of vaping, obviously the legality of vaping. So we're really focused heavily on the education, and that starts way before that age of 18, right? So we're really trying to get the message out to students in middle schools as well as in the early years of the secondary school because we're really trying to deal with it in terms of that prevention piece. So I just wanted to speak to, I've been able to see some of those programs in action. Students are incredibly engaged. So it is a combination of social conversation that students are having amongst one another about peer pressure and engaging and those sorts of things, as well as the use of technology. They also have quests and projects that they do in order to really understand the impacts of cigarette smoke and vaping on the body. So I just feel very strongly that that's a part of it as well. And in our partnership, we really do talk about prevention and education, but I'll let Stephanie continue on with that explanation if that's okay.
Thank you, Superintendent Newby, and through the chair. The pieces that I would add to that would be some of the other components of the work that the health unit is connected to outside of the school partnerships, and that involves work in policy, that involves work in enforcement, that involves work in promotion, as you spoke to, in education, as well as supporting individuals who do use, whether it's tobacco products, vaping products, to access cessation supports and the support they need if they're ready to make a quit attempt. So a lot of work that does happen, both in partnership with the school board, but also beyond that as well.
Okay, I think Trustee Armstrong is next.
Thank you. Through you, in regards to immunization, I did have a question too about the digital, I think it's called Connect Ontario Digital Health Record. Does the health unit professionals, regulated health professionals, use the digital records for anything in their work in the health unit, or do they even access that digital record? I just ask that because I know it's restricted. I work in a hospital or a health center now, is what it's called. I can access anybody's blood work and any time that they had blood work on a lab. I can access what prescriptions any pharmacy in Ontario has given a patient, because these are things that sometimes patients can't tell you. And you need to know these things for certain procedural things. But I just find it hard to believe that immunization would not be in that record, because the most doctors' offices are digital, and I think their patient records are in that digital record. So I guess because I look at it as immunization is definitively a health issue, not an educational issue. So I know there's the act about School Pupils Act, and I wonder if that has, rescinding of that, and just if it's in the digital record, it would just make so much more sense to me. But I don't know, do the health units, utilize those records?
Through the chair to you, Trustee Armstrong. We have a number of different databases that the health unit would work in, and I'm not just prepared to speak to all of the details of where that information comes from or how it's used at this moment in time. But what I would say is, at this point for immunization, as I spoke to earlier, we do rely on the families to self-submit, so that's not coming to us automatically through another source. So it would be through the methods I spoke to earlier.
But just,
Follow-up?
Just to clarify, at this point in time, if the health unit wanted access to immunization records through those digital, and I'm talking about the portal, I think it's called Connect Ontario. That's the only one I deal with, but I don't know if there's others. Is it possible for that information to be in those systems? Is it in those systems currently, or just out of curiosity? I'm not expecting you to do that extra work. I'm just saying, to me, this looks like a governmental issue. I just don't see it as an educational issue. It's a health issue. But currently, can health units access that type of information in the digital formats that you're currently using?
Thank you, and through the chair to you, Trustee Armstrong. It's a question that I can take back to our immunization program. I don't directly oversee that program, so I'm not familiar with all of the ins and outs of the pieces that you're requesting information on, but can certainly note the interest and take that back.
Okay. I think we have Trustee Strawn and then Trustee Rafiq.
Thank you, and thank you so much for coming and for your presentation. I really appreciate it. And I just wanted to add some commentary also around the immunizations. Just to say that my experience with the immunization records and people needing immunizations is very recent. I have 4 kids now in Simcoe County District School Board, and they all have friends and parents, and everybody talks. And it's gotten a lot easier compared to Trustee Lloyd's experience. So people have reported that, like, just in passing, that they've been able to easily update records, and that they've been working with the schools, like principals and staff, and that it's been not overly cumbersome. And the clinics that the health unit is running are amazing. Like, my son actually had to go to one of those because he personally received a letter being over 16 and then did not share it with anybody. And we had to go to the clinic, and it took 5 minutes. Everybody was so nice, so helpful, and I would just commend the entire team for the improvements that you've made over time. There's certainly still things that we could do to streamline and make it a lot easier and take advantage of the digital records and these types of things, but I just wanted to say that, and if you would bring that back to your team, as you know, to have a nice balance of comments from us. And then I also wanted to comment on the food, student nutrition, and I'm sure Trustee Rafiq will speak about that, but just wanted to say thank you for the work that you've been doing in partnership with us there, the guidance and the advocacy, and also again, in the community through some of the schools that I represent as trustee, they've had great partnerships. Outside organizations have had great partnerships with both the school and the health unit supporting their work, like the Kids Pantry program as an example, and I know there's others, and so that's really benefiting a lot of our students to have that support and to have that coming from multiple different places and really providing that wraparound for students so that they can access the food that they need. And again, we have still a lot more work to do in that area, but I think we're taking really positive steps in the right direction and doing it collaboratively, and that has a huge impact. So thank you very much.
Okay, Trustee Rafiq, please.
Thank you very much, and through the chair. Mine is just really a comment as well. Thank you for your presentation, and thank you for your relationship with our board. It is so important. It's so clear looking through these numbers and all the amazing programs that you have that it's so important. I feel your role in public health and our role in education, they're very similar, and our partnership is so essential. When I just have a look at that over 1,300 students were identified that they needed urgent follow-up dental care. That's amazing right there. If there were no other partnerships, then that right there made such a huge difference on so many lives. And to know that there's then someone there to show families what are available. I think a lot of people don't realize that there are so many dental resources that are available now and have come to be in the last couple of years. So that right there that's a big difference for people's lives, because that's a impactful one, and it's a real barrier for a lot of people still, dental care. So that's amazing. Your work with vaping, I've been always very impressed by that as well. I think we as parents in this generation, we're learning along with our kids as well. And I've been really impressed. My kids have all recently graduated through our board as well. And I've been really impressed with the knowledge they brought home to me. They taught me things that I didn't know. They taught me statistics that I didn't know. And it was really great. And it was great to see how enthusiastic they were about it. They were very much on your team and very much advocating with their friends. And it is you can see that like the social part of it is big. Obviously the social part of vaping is big, but the social part of who doesn't want their friends to vape is a big part of it as well, right? So having that relationship and giving kids the tools to be that person and to, I remember what it was like being the non-smoker as a kid, and you get a lot of pressure. And so now to be able to give our kids the tools to happily and proudly be the one to convince their friends not to vape, that's an amazing tool that you're giving them as well. I recently had some knowledge learning about the On the Move program. I was on a committee with Trustee Connors in Bradford. We saw what a difference it made there. They were so happy about the program, so that was great. Obviously, I've spent a lot of time on Eat Well to Excel with you over the years, and your leadership there has been amazing as well. The health unit in a whole has taken on such a leadership role of Eat Well to Excel over the years. One of your staff was our chair for very, very many years, and then you yourself had taken on a leadership role, a supportive role. The committee would not have continued on as it was if it wasn't for the health unit's partnership. So I thank you very much for all of your work you do with our board. Thank you.
Thank you. It was a wonderful, wonderful speech. Thank you. Trustee Bites.
Yes, through you. And I was just, I guess I have a question for Superintendent Young, maybe. It just made me think when Stephanie mentioned the enforcement side, and obviously our police partners would be the ones that would be involved with that. And I don't know if they share any information about, no, they don't come down on people selling vapes to minors.
I think I'll Superintendent.
Okay,
will
maybe
take
I'm
that.
confused.
Yep.
Yeah, and in consultation with Manager Ross, she'll speak as well. But basically, that's a completely separate piece that we kind of would not be exploring at this time. There is some information within your package. I just want to draw your attention to that, where there was some data and numbers that were presented. I think Trustee Rafiq referenced a particular data statistic. So if you do want some additional information beyond what was in the initial report, I'd encourage you to take a look at the addendum. And then I want to just turn it over to Manager Ross if you'd like to as well speak to that kind of piece. But I would say that generally speaking, we're really focused here on the conversation around the avoidance of the pieces and the education piece, not so much about enforcement at this time.
Sorry. So thank you. And through the chair, maybe just at a very high level to say that we do have, and it's identified in the report as well, we do have tobacco enforcement officers who work for the health unit who would go out to the schools and assess for compliance with the Smoke-Free Ontario Act. So that is within scope for the health unit.
Trustee Bates?
Yeah, no, my question was, I realize that it's mostly outside of this report. I was wondering if Superintendent Young knew anything from the other partners about the enforcement side, like how much are people fined, or is there any stats, you know, just to bring awareness to kind of prevent this, because I know students getting access to these, it seems to be everywhere. So I don't know if they have an initiative or anything like an enforcement splits, or if you have any information or could ask if you're not in your next meeting, if maybe they could share, if there's something that could be shared. That's all.
Okay, I think Director Stevens is going to take that question.
And we do have our regular police board protocol meeting coming up, so we can engage in that conversation. But I just want to clarify, it is the health unit's enforcement agency and their enforcement officers who would charge enforcement, would be a charge, a fine. It's not the police. So that's what we were trying to say to you. So it's the enforcement officers from the health unit who lay fines in regards to the Smoke-Free Ontario Act.
Okay. Okay, Trustee.
Yeah, sorry, no, I'm learning here. This is great. Thank you. Director Stevens, or maybe Stephanie. So the enforcement, Smoke-Free Ontario enforcement, so they would be able to find businesses or students or both? Like, okay, sorry, I assumed that maybe they were doing students and maybe the police did like bigger stuff or whatever, but yeah, I don't know if you can help clarify anything, but this is very interesting. Thank you.
So through the chair to you, Trustee Bites, yes, so that's correct. The health unit has a role in tobacco enforcement. So when I spoke earlier about some of the different components of work that we do in an effort to reduce smoking, in an effort to reduce vaping, enforcement is one side, as Superintendent Newby spoke to as well, though. Education, especially when we're speaking with young people, is a very important first step. So both very important parts of our work, both in schools and in the community. But yes, it would be the health unit that does do enforcement in both settings.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much for that information. Any other questions? Okay, I don't see any. Thank you again. There was a lot of incredible information, and the work that's being done in our partnerships is it's incredible. So thank you so much for coming and sharing that report tonight. And that takes us to minutes, Pro-I-2A, report of the public session of the Safe Schools Committee meeting held on December 2nd, 2025. And this will be from Superintendent Young.
Through the chair, these are for information.
Okay, my apologies.
It's okay.
So you will see the minutes from that meeting for your information. Excellent. Thank you very much. And that takes us to correspondence, and we do not have any. Are there any other matters? Trustee Rafiq, please.
Thank you very much. And through the chair, I just wanted to share that I attended, I believe Trustee Foley did too, and I think we might have missed each other today, but I attended Hockey Day in Collingwood. We usually go together, and I think we missed each other this time. But it's always such a great event. So it's, from my understanding, a leadership course, and they put together this wonderful tournament in hockey every year, and the grade 7, 8 students in the area participate in a tournament. And it's the inclusiveness of the event is really incredible. So you definitely see kids playing hockey that play hockey all the time, and then you see kids that really can barely stand up on skates, and they're having the opportunity to skate with everyone and play on a team with everyone, and it's just a really wonderful day all the time. I saw today someone barely standing up knocked over fell over herself and knocked over a player on the opposing team, and then I saw that student help her up before they moved on. So it was just a real moment of like, this is not a regular hockey game. This is a different kind of day, right? And it's I always love watching it. So I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who was involved in that. It's always wonderful to watch.
Excellent. Any other matters? Oh, Trustee Foley, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and through you. Yeah, I was there. We did miss each other. It was great hockey. I wish I was there now watching the big playoff game, which is taking place currently. Really a great presentation and great work done by a lot of the students that organized it. And my thanks go out to all of them for making it so well done and so entertaining. And I've also had the opportunity to talk to Collingwood Wasaga Wasaga Beach environmental concern team over the last couple of days, and they're very interested in talking with our board, so I'm sure we'll be hearing from them because Earth Day is coming up, so everybody recycle more.
Thank you. Any other matters? Trustee Armstrong. Connors. Sorry.
I just wanted to thank the students and men staff and Superintendent Webb for letting me visit Fieldcrest and WH Day yesterday and today. I just want to say it's always great to see the different types of learning happening in our schools. The students are super excited to see them learning different methods. And a couple little kids just love to tour around and show you everything that's been going on since September. And the other thing is that one of the best things that I love to see is to actually see what we hear about in the meetings in action. And it's just great to see. So thank you very much for indulging in my visits.
Wonderful. Any other matters? I attended the North Simcoe Cup last week. This is our hockey day. I did hear, which I thought was interesting, that because I do think it's sometimes that's the kids that play hockey, but they shared that they draw names, so it isn't just a given, which I thought was very inclusive as well. But it's an incredible day, right? And there's so much pride in your schools, and the energy is incredible, and the giving back to our community is strong. So it's wonderful, and I think hopefully everybody has seen the celebration video that's been shared all week. I'm sure we're going to see it maybe later on this month. But again, thank you to our communication team. They do an amazing job of capturing so many special moments. So it was a great day. Anyone else? Okay. Any notices of motion for next meeting? Okay, I don't see any. We don't have any items for closed session, so that takes us to adjournment. Do I have a mover? Trustee Lloyd, seconded by Trustee Bites. All in favor? Any opposed? And we are adjourned. Have a good night and drive safely. Thank you.